Hello, Jim Hodges here, Jackson here. Jack's a lab puppy that we've got that's right at a year old that came for our vacation dog training, residency dog training program. He's really a good boy. All he is a giant puppy in a dog's body. He does those things. He gets happy, he jumps, he mouths, typical things that happy dogs do. And all we have to do is work on getting these things straightened out, which we've done over the last 2 weeks. You know, the important thing is, I tell people all the time, is our dogs learn to behave in certain situations. When they go home, they go back to what their previous learned behavior was until you step up and become that leader. My job is to teach him what to do and teach you what to do. And I think we're going to do well. He's going to be a great family dog as he gets older. What I'm going to do real quick is just go through the training. If he messes up, you know, we're going to provide a consequence. You're going to see the consequence. The important thing that I want you to do is listen to my tone of voice. If I do have to tap the leash, we want to make sure that when we tap the leash, we give him an or no. It's so important that no starts to mean something again. In so many people's lives, they start off with their dog and they tell them no when they're puppies, and before long, because there is no action with it, no physical action with it, no just becomes a word that goes in one ear and out the other. We want to get that no or that growl or that bite to mean something again. So here we go. Listen to my motivation. Watch my hand signals. Let's see what happens. Jackson, you ready? Let's go. Good boy. Let's go, of course, is where he's walking with us. You know, he's not walking out in front. One of the things he used to do is pull, pull, pull. In fact, I remember the day he got here. He was such a pulling guy, but now he's learned how to walk with us. We want to praise him when he's walking with us as we like. He doesn't get out in front. He's by our side right now. As you go hiking and do things going in the future and you're the leader, it doesn't matter. If you want him out, he can be out in front. But until we become leader, we want to be able to control it. We don't want him to lead the walk, and we want him to know when he's doing something we don't like. He's very friendly with other dogs and with other children. It's important that we have him in control and not allowed to act on those things or people unless we want him to do it. Okay? So when we're walking, let's go. If he started to pull out in front, I would tap the leash parallel to the ground, back behind him. Good boy. If he started to go that way, I would tap this way. He's acting mighty tired. He goes through this, I am laid back kind of guy. And then when he gets turned on, he's just as crazy as it can be. Again, he's a happy lab that doesn't have a lot of mood swings. It's just labs in general. Let's go. Ah, my boy, come on. So the next thing, sit. Hand signal for sit. He sits. He holds that sit until I release him. If he didn't sit, I would have taken the leash and tapped straight up above his head. No, sit. And then praised again after the bite. We always praise our dog, even when they do something wrong, after we've got it corrected. Break. Break is release. Sit. Again. Good boy. He has to hold that sit until we release him, okay? Doesn't matter what we're doing, he has to hold it. If he was to get up and walk across the room, we would get him and take him back. No, no, no. Sit. Good boy. And then move back away again. You remember what we talked about him gaining an advantage. Break. Other thing with a big bone dog, I don't like to put into a sit command for a long time. 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes at the most, okay? If we're going to be in a stationary place, let him decide what he's going to be. If we're meeting our neighbors or friends on a walk, if he wants to sit like that, that's fantastic. If he wants to lay down, that's okay. What he can't do from this time forward the rest of his life, is start to pull us to get to something. If he starts to pull, what are we going to do? We're going to tap back at that parallel fashion as we've done before. If we wanted to, we could tell him down, hand signal for down from the side, and he has to down. Now, we can put him in a down command for as long as we want him to, okay? Typically, I don't say anything but down. Now, if I wanted him, and when we get to that down, he can't smell. So if he starts to smell the ground again, I'm going to tell him, no, down. Why can't he smell? This is my rule. I believe he needs to pay attention to us when we're working. Now, I could say, Stay. Notice the hand signal out in front of him. Now when I tell him to stay, it means pack his bags. He's going to be there for a while. Now he can smell, he can roll over, he can chew a bone, do whatever as long as he stays in the down. But when we're normally working, down means down and be ready for the next command. I hope you understand that. If he did not do that then, and now he is in the down stay, I would tap the ground, say this is his head, no, down, good boy, sorry about that. So does that make sense? If not, ask me, okay? Break, attaboy. Notice every time I break, I take a step away and he comes to me and I'll pat. What I'm trying to do is encourage to him that every release of a command, everything in his life should be centered around me. So when he comes up to me, hey buddy, we're going to pet and love him, okay? So now you've got the sit, okay, and the down from the side. Sit, good boy. Now, down, attaboy, good boy. Praise for doing the command well. Just as before, he's in that down until I release him. Now, we don't have to make him sit first. We could go, break, attaboy, come on, down. Change the rules at any time. He can down from the stand, he can down from the sit. That's a good boy. Break. So again, if he didn't down, it would be a tap. If we stepped off while he was in a down and he started to step off, we would get him and bring him back to where we were. No, down. One of the reasons he came in is he likes to mouth and bite. Okay, nothing hard, it's just that lab thing. That would be a no if he started to do it. Little tap and continually putting our hand there for him to grab. Good. Then when he ignores it, we praise him, okay? Again, with the down, going back to it, he has to stay there as long as we want. If we're going to keep him there for a long time, it would be stay. All right, the next thing that we're going to do, and when we're doing it on leash, we want to make sure that the collar's in a position for us, is we're going to tell him to COME. To me, there are two types of that command. One is on leash, where we can compel and make him do it. The other is off leash, where we really have to psychologically get him to obey us, where he wants to obey us. So right now, watch my hand. Good boy. I don't think he was in the sit anymore. Since I wasn't sure, nah, sit. See what I did? No, sit. Good boy. That was my mistake. I wasn't certain. So if you're not certain, you have two choices. You can ignore it or bite it. For you guys, I decided to bite it. And you saw what the bite was. We're not here to intimidate or dominate or hurt him in any way. All we're here to try to do is redirect him and let him know that we're physically and mentally his leader. So the next thing is that COME. Watch my hand, listen to my tone. Come. Reel the leash in. He comes, he sits. Attaboy. We praise him, and now he's holding in the sit until we release him. If I wanted to give him a treat then, I could give him a treat once he came to me and once he sat. Off leash, when he's out in the backyard, when you're out anywhere, if we don't have the leash on him, we can't tell him to come, or we shouldn't, unless we know he's going to come. Gosh, that sounds crazy, Jim. It isn't crazy, because if he's out here playing with another dog, smelling a flower or what have you, and we tell him to come and he doesn't come, he just learned that he doesn't have to listen to that word. So, break. When we're off leash, and this is going to be hard, but pretend like he was off leash, what we would do is, Jackson, hey, what's up? Hey, right here. He commits, come. So what would happen is, break. I got his attention, have a toy, have a treat. When he started to come to me, that's when I would tell him to come. Once he came to me and sat, I'd pet him and love him. The other thing that I would make sure that I don't do is put him up or scold him or provide any kind of consequence for coming. So if he was doing something bad over there and you want to provide a consequence, you go to him. If you're getting ready to go to work or go somewhere, when you call him to him, don't pick him right up and put him in the crate or put him inside, because that could be deemed as a negative for him. If you've got to go, you come in, you pet him, you love him, you do whatever, give it a minute or two, then take him inside so he doesn't think the act of coming resulted in him being put up. Okay? Let's go. Good boy. Come on, baby. Let's go. Next command, play. Atta boy. Notice I praised him when his 4th foot hit the bed. That's very important. If we praise him when his 1st foot hits, then he thinks that's all he needed to do to make us happy. When we wait till the 4th foot hits, he's on place. As you know, with your children, our cats, when they're around, he's willing to hold the command. We have to practice this. When he goes home, he's going to go back to doing what he used to do until you show him things have changed. We've watched football together. We've had other dogs, other cats out. He'll do this command for a couple of hours for us. One of the things that was mentioned to me as a concern is he has chewed his bed. That's happened to a lot of dogs that I understand. Now that we know that he's capable of doing it, we wouldn't put him on a place or put him on a bed unless we're watching him. If he started to chew on the bed, we would take the leash, we would tap him and tell him no place, while he's in the act of chewing on the bed. So he understands we do not like that. Real important. You're in the kitchen, you go to the bathroom, you go get a sandwich. Good boy. So I praised him when he laid down, because place he can lay down, sit down, stand up. I don't care what he does as long as he stays there. But when we go to the kitchen or have to go somewhere in the house, he has to stay there. Okay, the very first time you walk out of the room or someone rings the doorbell and you have him in a place, he's probably going to pop up. When that happens, what you do is you have him on a leash to begin with, okay? You get that leash, no, place, good boy, and then you immediately go back to what you were doing. I believe so much so that anytime we give a dog a command and they break that command to get closer to us or to do what they want to do, we have to remove the advantage game, okay? So he's good at this. He's been tested well with it. Once you become his leader, which you're well on the way of doing, same thing's going to happen there. Let's go. The next thing is loading up the vehicles or getting on furniture or whatever. I used to hand signal, saying like, hup. Whoa, good boy. That slid off, but good boy. Right. Good. As you can see, Jackson's a good boy. He likes to play, he likes to have a good time, but he's also a laid-back kind of guy. Last thing we want to do is the heel command. The heel command is like a much more well-defined let's go command. It's where we have a box beside us and it's our job to keep him in that box, and when we stop, he has to sit automatically and hold it till we release him. Our job is to keep him in the box. This is great for close quarters like the fair or the park or someplace where there's a lot of people. It's teaching him to stay right into our box here. So you ready? Hand signals like this. Heel. Good boy. So we walk, we stop. Atta boy. We praise. We step off. He's there. So in the beginning, heel. We want to do some straight paths, but we also want to change directions. Look and see how he come right back to it. Come on, boy. Heel. Hear me motivated? Heel, buddy. Turn. Staying in. Good boy. Good boy. Atta boy. No, down. Now the important thing that we do is with the leash, we never break. We never ever hold the leash tight. It's always about having it being loose inside, okay? When it's tight, we're doing the work for him. When it's loose, he has to respond to what we're doing. And when we tap, when we're tapping sideways, up or down, it's just like that, a tap and release. It's not designed to intimidate or dominate. It's, again, a sign to let him know that we're providing a little nip, a redirection, if you will, and he must respond. When we bite him and he does what we ask, we praise. Real important. It's about loose leash. If we continually have a tight leash, he's going to know we have control. And he's going to know when he's off leash that we don't have control. So it's real important that we do things as loose leash as possible. When he's obeying you inside 8, 9 times out of 10 in a row, then you start asking him to do things off leash. Good boy. You never ask him to do something off leash or you never ask him to do any command unless you know he's going to do it or you can make him do it. Off leash, you're going to know in your heart when he's willing to obey a command. That's the best time in the world to give him one, okay? And then you can praise him and love him and let him know how good he is, okay? And that's the important thing. We always say what we mean what we say. If we don't mean it, we don't say it. That's how they begin to understand that we're in control all the time. Last thing I want to tell people and tell anyone that uses this kind of collar or any kind of collar, and we use this collar to control, we don't put this collar on and start working. We don't put this collar on and bite him. We put the collar on and let it be part of his wardrobe, if you will, okay? We put the collar on and let him run around with it for a little while, then we come and hook up the leash. If we go through the act of putting the collar on and work, before long he's going to think it's the collar and not you. So we're smarter than that. We put the collar on him. As long as we're at home, I think you should have this collar on for the next 90 days, okay? If you leave, the collar needs to come off. The beautiful thing about this little puppy bite collar that I use on some dogs, you know, if the dog is big and strong enough, I think it's the safest collar out there. Compared to a choke collar, a leather collar, a nylon collar, I believe it's the safest collar for a dog to get hung up on. But we never want to take that chance with any of them. All right, well, you know who I am, Jim Hodges. My number is 945-3232. That's area code 336. JimHodgesDogTraining.com. Jim Hodges Dog Training /Facebook.com. Facebook.com/Jim Hodges Dog Training. I'm here for you. I'm here for those who want to ask questions. Your dog can do anything you want with them for your life, making it real life and part of your structure in your family. Real life dog training goes a long way. It's not about being in the Army. It's about us enjoying our lives together. Thank you so much. Take care. Right. Good boy.